But it's not a joke. It is not a joke. Since I believe the problem with Dorothy and in dealing with her expresses the problem that we have in dealing with Jesus Christ. After all, she was guided entirely by an interpretation of who and what he was like. That's what she said. Where do you get your stuff? Where do you get your ideas? Where do you get your judgment? How do you arrive at this position? Her answer was always the same. I just read the worship, church, etc. That was the person of Christ. And the great modern question, and it begins even then, is whether belief in Christ and the following Christ is not in fact indeed alienating. It was the Marxist question, it is the secularist question, the masters of suspicion, whether the following of Christ is in fact promotes your human experience or whether it narrows it. This is a question, and it is a question that is asked by many, including by many priests. It is a question not concerning these issues, but concerning issues in my personal life that I ask myself. The priest, like you, like me, faces a problem in an acute way, because the question has to be asked. Is the Roman Catholic priesthood, should it have not cease to evolve into something else, or cease to exist? Is it tenable today to believe this, what the Church teaches about the sacramental orders? So, although, you know, it's a kind of a joke about she's in good company, she is in good company.
Yes?
I wonder if she would have today have backed up the Cuban Revolution as she did then, because it has evolved into a completely different situation now there than it was 50 years ago when she, and even myself, admire it. You know what I'm saying?
No, I don't know what she would
No,
do.
she admired the Cuban Revolution of the time in 59.
Well,
and 60.
everybody did,
Yes.
in a sense that what it claimed to be for.
Right.
Some more astute people maybe saw more and could already see that it would not be what it claimed to be. Others, it took time for this sad conviction, because it is sad. I've been in Cuba numerous times, a guest of the Cardinal there, and taking tours around with him, and it really is. Everywhere there is a stamp of failure. I mean, not non-ideological reasons for it. You could see the poverty. Well, you can say, well, how was it like before? I don't know, but after 40-something years, or maybe whatever it is now, revolution, you cannot see that and not question its basic premises. And then to have the incredible experiences I did of watching Che Guevara's picture there at the Plaza of the Revolution, the gigantic picture, and right before the Pope's visit, a week or so or two, going down again to write an article for the New Yorker, instead of Che Guevara's picture was a gigantic picture of the Sacred Heart. Hey, listen, now and then you just go to the movies, okay?
Yes? In the blue shirt?
Is there a movement for her beatification?
Well, there have been a series of masses celebrated on the second Saturday of every month for, a year or so or two now. Monsignor Ricci at the cathedral in the Lady Chapel celebrates a mass asking for her beatification, asking God for her beatification.
But the cause has been introduced too. I mean, the Holy See now calls her, the first step, servant of God. Is that not so?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Well, she's been a servant of God now, that category, for quite a few years. But so they want her to, now the next step is beatification. But we don't know I don't know when it's going to happen, or if it's going to happen, or you can be sure that the Catholic worker does not depend on whether it happens or not.
Yes?
Can you tell us what led to her conversion to Christianity?
To Dorothy's conversion or Mary's conversion?
No, Dorothy.
Well, the critical point in her conversion was the birth of her daughter. It created a huge need for her to thank God and to express herself religiously.
In the back, in the blue shirt in the back.
I got your letter, so maybe you dealt with it, but I interested. I've read some of her work and I've been to a lot of Catholic work, some Catholic work. What were her views on self-defense to, like either armed or violent attack, either individual kind of situation like a sexual attack or an armed attack? What were her views on how to protect one's own life?
Well, these are all questions which cannot be answered in a general way. I mean, because if you are attacked by somebody or by another country, or it's a unique situation, and so you respond according to the situation. But we do not believe in armed resistance. I say the Catholic worker is not... I once asked her, it was when the Cold War was still on, I said, well, what if the Russians do come over here and take over, What if we're taken over by the Russians? And she said, Jesus lived in an occupied country. Now, we're supposed to be followers of Jesus. And when they came to arrest him in the Garden of Gethsemane, and Peter drew his sword and chopped off the ear of one of the centurions, the Lord reached over and healed that ear and said, "Put up your sword. They who take up the sword will perish by the sword." And this is true of guns and bombs and every kind of a thing. Now there's a wonderful story that Ammon Hennessy used to tell about how, you want to hear this story?
Yeah.
Well, he would tell a story. He was a great non-violent great anti-war person. And he would go around giving talks to seminaries, and he was in great demand. I heard him walk into a room full of seminarians one day and say, "Well, now, I've been sent by God to wake you people up. Now, you can just stay the way you are, do the way you are, be the way you are, or you can change." But anyway, one of the stories he would tell would be, this is a true story. Excuse me. One night, a Quaker family was sitting down for dinner, and mother, father, and some children sitting down one Friday night over in New Jersey, getting ready for dinner. And suddenly there was a big bang at the door, and a couple of bandits stormed into the place with guns and stuff, and they said, "All right, here we are now, we want everything you've got in here." And these Quakers, being very, very convinced pacifists, said to them, "Well, we were just sitting down for dinner. Would you like to have some dinner with us first, and then we can talk about it later?" So these thugs sit down to dinner and have a beautiful, lovely dinner. And the mother and father are asking them, well, about their families and their children and all that. And they have a lovely time. And then after dinner, they say to the thugs, well, now, what was it that you wanted? And they just said, forget about it. So long, you know, bye-bye. And this was, now, of course, somebody else in another situation who was not interested in defusing these people could have taken out a shotgun and just blown them away. But that's not what we think the answer is, and we believe that the Lord is not in favor of those answers, and that we're not on this earth to kill each other. And in fact,
I don't know if that would have worked if that pharmacy in Long Island, though.
well, one of the things we need is gun control. I have a badge that I wear, but I haven't, I don't know, I misplaced it somewhere. But it's a picture of a gun with a big red circle and a slash across the middle. And it says, real men don't use guns. And, you know, of course it is true that one can be killed. I mean, I don't know. I was faced with a gun down in Florida one time. It was a big surprise, and I was really scared. Thank God he didn't shoot me. But for a minute there, I didn't know what was going to happen. Anyway, these things do happen. Sorry about that. No, I'm beginning to be comfortable with the microphone, so I'm not used to this, but I'm beginning to like it.
Oh, never mind. Look, my own position on these things is, you know, I would defend myself and then go to confession. Yeah. I am inspired by, we live in a situation best described by St. Augustine of Corte, a friend of mine, and in his prayer for, Lord, give me purity, but not yet. There is no question to me that the very heart of the gospel, the very figure, gestalt of Jesus, that he was. I mean, what does it take to say if someone hits you, give the other cheek? I mean, what are these? These little pious things, hallmark thoughts of the day? These are astounding views of life. And how could one ever subscribe to them? Where is the evidence? How can one ever subscribe to it? Unless by blind faith. I don't like blind faith. I was given reason and experience, and I want something there that allows me to say, well, yes, and put all the buts to apply it to my imperfection. Yes, I will not defend myself, but the awareness of being a sinner, the awareness, all of these things, this is not ideological. At heart is the question about the person of Jesus, but if you want it in terms, the question is, which is greater, grace or sin? It doesn't just quote St. Paul. Put yourself in a situation where you have to make a quick judgment and decide what way to follow. Grace or
What
sin?
I do is I use my voice. Scare them to death.
Exactly, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes?
I'd like to say something about what you said, Msgr, about Dorothy and Genevieve. Because she was later in life a member of the Benedictine Oblates, so she had certain responsibilities that she took upon herself that way. But I never thought of her as a virgin. I thought of her as a pure person. And I don't think you can understand her at all unless you see her motherhood and her grandmotherhood. And I think part of her long loneliness was not being with the man she loved, not being at all times with her daughter, and not having more time with her grandchildren.
Look, that's what I mean by virginity, okay? It's a clarity. It is Bernanos who says that the Blessed Virgin Mary were to look at herself in the river, she couldn't see her face because of the transparent. This is a transparent look. John Paul II in the Theology of the Body thing talks a lot about that, about a look, how you look at a person, how the person frames itself, how you frame the person. If there is a clarity, if you allow the person to be, all of these things are meanings of virginity. But if the word bothers you, forget it. I mean, what is not important is to find the right word, is to describe the way of life you just described.
I think it's very important, especially with Dorothy being considered for canonization, that it be very clear that she is a lay person, and that is really the life that she relished. She was really a sensuous person. You could see it in some of those pictures that you have there. And she enjoyed, you talked before about beauty, you know, and she was attracted to beauty, and she encouraged others to be attracted to beauty. And,
What can I say? You know, I'm sure all of that, I can't imagine that her cause will be pursued weekly. I mean, there will be people in the Holy See whose job it is to oppose these things. But I think, you know, if somebody as Mother Teresa visited and had a relationship with her, I mean, like right now, all these people are riding high. So I have hope, but I like to hear what Mary said. It does, for the Catholic worker, for the Carison, it doesn't matter whether she is. But it does matter to the people who don't have a chance, who don't know, who don't know her. I mean, I think initially you need to overcome a certain problem. I mean, like I remember when I was first looking at one of her books that had pictures, I was a little bit concerned that she never was smiling. She seemed so serious, and I said, oh my God, I can't face that. But you have to overcome either silly obstacles like that or more serious ones. And it helps if you have the recognition of the church as a saint, in order for precisely just to overcome those obstacles. But then again, the fruit of her work, it doesn't depend on what she's called.
We have time for one more question. Yes, sir, in the back.
Where did she meet Mother Teresa, and what was her response?
Where did she meet Mother Teresa? What was her response?
Well, Mother Teresa visited 2 times at Mary House, and I'm not sure whether she met her in India, because Dorothy did go to India. But, so Mother Teresa visited 2 times at Mary House, and on one occasion she pinned a crucifix that their nuns wear on their shoulder, a little crucifix. She pinned one to Dorothy there at the same spot on her shoulder, sort of making her, you know, part of it, which...
Hello?
Yes.
No, I'm sorry.
But
I fear she's in an ecstatic contemplation.
No, there was a letter that Mother Teresa wrote to her. It was beautiful on her. All right, it's in this book anyway. The letter she wrote on her 70th.
oh, I haven't seen that.
Well, maybe it's a good time to introduce this book. First of all, we have to thank Jim Forrest, who allowed us to use all of these, not all, some of them were Felton's pictures too, but most of the pictures or in this book, All Is Grace. This is a biography that just came out in April of 2011. They're being sold out here at the table. And I can tell you that this is an extraordinary book. It's very comprehensive, and it does talk about the letter that Mother Teresa wrote to Dorothy Day on her 75th birthday, which was very beautiful. Also, if you want to know more about Mary Lathrop, first I can suggest this article in Trace's magazine. This is the magazine of Communion and Liberation. There's an interview here with Mary, and you can read that. It talks about Mary's conversion, which is very interesting. You saw the picture of, forget his name now.
Oh,
no,
Ammon.
not Ammon.
No.
The one that converted you.
No, you didn't. There's no picture of him. No, oh, you mean Billy Graham.
Billy
You
Graham,
didn't,
yes.
Well, you didn't have a picture
Oh, the
of
Holy
him.
Spirit, sorry, correction. Okay. Also, in this book, Loaves and Fishes, Dorothy writes a lot about her relationship with Mary Lathrop, and also in the letters. And so, really, I have to say that for me to be here with Mary and with Msgr speaking about Dorothy Day is an incredible privilege. Mary and I have been talking about this event since I think January or February, and just to be with Mary, speaking about her life and her relationship with Dorothy has been an extraordinary experience for me. And I really thank Mary that she gave of herself so fully and so completely in this. So thank you very much, Mary, for
You're welcome.
And of course, we have to thank Msgr for coming here and giving his insights this evening also. Our first event for the fall 2011 program will take place in this very room on Saturday, September 17th from 6:30 to 8:30. The first in a 4-movie series on interesting lives for our time. We will start with Maria Yudina, the pianist who moved Stalin. Under the oppression of the communist regime in the Soviet Union, she, one of the greatest pianists of the 1900s, was continuously fighting in the front line for the freedom of the church and of art. Please remember to leave your name and contact information on the sign-up sheets out here at the table if you are not already receiving email from Crossroads Cultural Center, and we can give you updates about our activities. We also invite you to view the short video on our homepage, which summarizes Crossroads activities for this past season, which with this last event comes to an end. Last but not least, certainly not least, in order to defray the cost of this evening, please consider making a donation by cash or by check and placing it at the box or the basket at the exit.
Consider making a vow of poverty right now and giving us everything you have in your wallet.
Thank you very much and have a good evening.